Hey everybody, it's Mr. Marshall here at Stony Lane. Did you know? Did you know that the U.S. is having its 250th birthday this year? That's right, that's a pretty big birthday. And so we are learning about different states. Ready? Here we go. Today we're going to focus on a state that's in what's called the Midwest, but it's the northern part of the Midwest. This is the Midwest here, and that's the state we're talking about today, and that's a state called Michigan. Michigan looks like it has two parts. Do you know why it looks like it has two parts? Because it does have two parts. Okay, it's got two parts. The part on the top is called the Upper Peninsula, and the part on the bottom is called the Lower Peninsula. That makes sense. But what's a peninsula? A peninsula is a piece of land that's surrounded by water on three sides. Right? An island is surrounded by water everywhere. A peninsula is surrounded by water on three of its sides. Right? And so if we take a look, this is it. The Upper Peninsula is surrounded by water on three sides, right? A little bit up here too. And the Lower Peninsula is surrounded by water on three sides too, okay? And so this water is the Great Lakes. There are 5 Great Lakes, and they're the biggest lakes. And here they are. There's 5 of them. Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. And Michigan is right here. Michigan touches 4 of the 5 Great Lakes, because it even touches Great Lake Erie down here. Right? Look at that. All this water all around the Upper Peninsula and the Lower Peninsula. Okay? So those are the 2 parts of Michigan. In fact, they call the Lower Peninsula, they call it the mitten, because it kind of is shaped a little bit like a mitten. Whoops. See that? Do you see it? There's the thumb. And right there in the Lower Peninsula are some of the biggest cities in Michigan. The biggest city in Michigan is called Detroit. Detroit is a city where lots of cars are made. It's called the motor capital of the United States, and maybe even the world, I'm not sure. But Detroit is a very big city, and that's where lots of cars are made in the U.S. Lansing is the capital of Michigan. Flint is another big city, and Traverse City is another big city right in Michigan. So yeah, Detroit is what's called the motor capital. It's called Motor City. And that's where cars have been made for many, many years. If a car is made in the U.S., there's a great chance that it might be made right there in Detroit. So Michigan, like every state, has a state bird. And the state bird of Michigan is this one. It's called the American robin. And you can always tell the American robin has an orange chest. That's the American robin. So there is a special place in Michigan called Mackinac Island. It's right here, right in between the Upper Peninsula and the Lower Peninsula. Remember, an island is totally surrounded by water. And so Mackinac Island is like that. And the thing that's special about Mackinac Island, not just that it's in between the 2 peninsulas and that it's an island, but it's an island that doesn't have any cars. Cars are not allowed to drive on Mackinac Island. They have all other kinds of vehicles, and people walk. And it's really pretty. And considering that Detroit is where all these cars are made, not that far away in the same state is this place, Mackinac Island, where cars are not even allowed. So I told you about the state bird, but Michigan also has a state animal. It's the white-tailed deer. And the white-tailed deer is special because when it runs, it lifts its tail, and it's white underneath, and that's how it communicates with the other white-tailed deer that danger is near, be careful. There are some famous people from Michigan that I want to show you, and people that come from Michigan are called Michiganders. Michiganders. And so these are some famous Michiganders. Magic Johnson was a famous basketball player, and Tom Brady is a famous football player, and Derek Jeter is a famous baseball player who played for the New York Yankees. Those are 3 athletes from the state of Michigan. Eminem is a rapper. He's from Michigan, and so is Stevie Wonder. They're two famous musicians from the state of Michigan. Henry Ford. Henry Ford is a famous person who helped to create cars the way we know them and created systems that they could create lots of cars with. Okay? Like he figured out how to make lots of cars. Sojourner Truth was someone who lived a long time ago in the 19th century, and she was a person that helped to fight against slavery and fight for equality. And Thomas Edison was a famous inventor, and he was born in Michigan. He did a lot of his work in New Jersey, but he was born in Michigan. Okay, there you have it. Those are some famous Michiganders. So Michigan is a state that has two parts, and it's surrounded by lots and lots of water and lots of beautiful things in nature. It has some famous people and helps create our cars. And so that is part of our celebration of the 250th anniversary of the United States. I'll see you next time.